Hello, everyone. I think we are almost at 12 o'clock. So I guess I'll start in a couple minutes. Oh, one more minute. I'm glad to see Wendy's on. Nice to see you, Wendy. Um, and I've decided to do this as a private Facebook group just because there's lots of crazy things out there. And I really want people that are in tune to what we're talking about to be joining us. So it's nice to see you, Wendy. So we're right at 12 noon. So, those of you that have heard my podcast before, hopefully everyone can hear me. Can you tell me if you can hear me? I think that my microphone here is working, but I'd love to know. Yes, Wendy, it's been a while. Wendy, can you hear me okay? Yes, good, good. So today we wanted to start the new reinvention of the podcast, which is really the reinvention of the whole business. So I'm so glad you've come here today. We've decided to do this as a lunch and learn, and then what's going to happen is we're going to change it over to an audio at the end, and it will become a podcast. So that's kind of the extension of it. So sometimes you'll see it as a podcast, sometimes you'll see it as a show, sometimes you'll see it as a lunch and learn, but it really is a lunch and learn. So I've got my salad here set to go for my lunch and learn. Hopefully, you guys have something to eat as well. Um, it's always good to take that time to get away. So that's why I liked the lunch and learn kind of theory. Um, so today I wanted to talk to you about a few things. One was really a key word that stood out to me that my coach was saying to me that I've joined recently. And coaching for everybody is so important, just so you know. And it really struck a chord for me. And it was knowledge is only knowledge until you can feel it in your bones. And don't you agree? And do you understand what that is? It was funny because I brought it up to someone that was quite younger, and they didn't quite understand what I meant. And right now, we're in a huge era, a new world where knowledge is everywhere. We can Google whatever we want. We can find information now with AI and everything that else is out there. You can do any of it, and it doesn't really change anything. You just have all the knowledge. But when you actually experience it and when you can feel that knowledge in your bones, that's when true change happens and when things happen. So, as many of you know, for the last 2 years, I've been traveling and running the business. In 2020, I turned off the podcast. And also with my clients, I stopped doing my group coaching clients. And I decided that in my heart, I felt it very important to really coach people one on one. At that time, I felt that people really needed it. How did they? The term at the time was pivot. How do you pivot your business? How do you deal with everything that was going on, all the negativity, the division, the scarcity, the worry, the fear? There was so much going on. How do you run a business and how do you pivot it to be able to change with the times? And so I felt it was very important to do one-on-one coaching. With that, it worked out perfectly. And as many of you that have followed me might know, I've always reinvented and changed things to the seasons and times of my life. So it worked out perfectly for me because Dario and I were traveling for 2 years, and it was easy for me to be able to organize and see my clients online that way and still be able to balance the enjoyment of the travel and the experience of that, but still being able to earn an income, a good income, to be able to see my clients and see them in that way. Now, also, many of you have followed me. You also know that I had an eye surgery. And I found out when I came back in April that my eye, I was blind in one eye, in this eye actually. And it had been for a year. And it was one of those random weird things. If I look back, there were signs out there of what had happened. But if I really would have taken that time to cover one eye and look out the other, I would have seen that I could not see out of that eye. It was black in the center and then a little bit of color on the outside. But you go on with life, you continue, you move on. And it wasn't until April that I went to the eye doctor, and the eye doctor had me look through one eye, had me look through the other, and they noticed that I could not see with one. At the time, I was quite scared and thinking I had a brain tumor or something, because some other things had happened where weird visual things were happening. But it turned out I had a macular hole. And so I had to go through the turmoil and tribulations of all of that and eye surgery. It was quite intense. I had to be awake for it, but really I should not have been awake, but you have to, unfortunately. And I had to spend what they thought was 2 weeks with my head down straight like this. I could not bring it up at all to eat, to do anything for 24/7. I had to sleep like that. I had to eat like that. And the point I'm trying to make is, when you're quiet and you're still and you trust your intuition, just yours alone, amazing things happen. And that's what the whole podcast show is on today, is trusting those instincts again and really listening. The world has gotten so noisy. It has gotten so noisy. People are pitting up against each other. There's all this hatred. The media is creating a lot of it. The news is creating a lot of it. And we're forgetting to become still in ourselves and really listen to our hearts. We talk kindness. We talk all of these things, but yet we're so divided. And it's important for you in your life and in your business, because a business as well, it carries all through that, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether it's a career, to settling back to who you are. And I go back to that. It's all knowledge. It's all knowledge until you can feel it in your bones. And that's what this new reinvention, transition, and everything that I'm creating from today until 2024 is going to change for you. Is going to be having you excel your business. Yes. Make your career that much better. Get into the 6 figures, the 7 figures, and beyond, and all of those things that everyone's talking about. But it's going back to your instincts and really knowing what you want, because we all are different. And so at the end of this podcast, I'm going to give you 3 tips to take home with you, to kind of hone in on that and really understand how you want to change that. So why is this happening? Why is everything getting so busy? And I remember doing a podcast on this. I've got to think it's like 2024. Because you got to remember, guys, I've been doing this for almost 20 years. It's been a long time since I've been coaching. And it's because everything is getting even more busier. So when 2020 came, everyone figured out the online business. So the amount of information that's coming out now, well, of course, my puppy comes to visit me just now. The information that comes out is just staggering. And I forget the actual numbers, what it was, but the amount of information that's coming out for us is the same as what it was in an hour, what it was in like a whole year in like 2017 or something crazy like that. So we're inundated with a lot of things that are happening. And the influence that happens to our brains and our body is horrific. You think about what's happening around the world, it breaks our heart. You know, the kindness that needs to be shown to everyone around the world, the divisiveness that's happening, the division of people, it's really, really sad. And we're forgetting to be able to reach out in that right way, to protect ourselves from some of that negativity, and to really generate what is important for us and every one of us as individual. So I think about going back to the calculator. You know, we used to use our brains before to know how to divide and add and multiply. Now, right away, we get to our devices. The phone. Isn't it crazy the amount of things that we can do on the phone? Think back to this, wasn't even a possibility years ago. This was on the Jetsons. What's happening? The GPS systems still floor me. People don't know north, south, east, and west anymore. We right away get onto our GPS and we try to figure out where we're going. And I think I mentioned this in one of my lives I did the other day. I automatically turned it on to go home. I'm thinking, if I don't know how to go home, what is going on? But it's just an automatic. We don't use our brains anymore in how we're thinking. And then we get into the big beast right now, and that's AI. Everyone seems to want to switch to the newer and bigger thing. And I truly believe that we're going to go back to the way it was. Not fully. I mean, AI has its place, but for it to take over our thought processes and be able to spit out what really they think we want to say, it's taking out the humanity of everything that we're doing. And that's what makes us special. To trust in those instincts, to use our brains, to use our intuition. I think back to when I used to be in the corporate world, and I knew I was a built-in entrepreneur. I knew in my heart. I don't know if anyone's ever heard this story. I mean, I think I was probably 6 years old. I went door to door selling tadpoles as a kid. I made these um, tattoos. I got a piece of paper and I drew these things in and I'd lick it and I'd put it on someone's arm and I went and sold those. I sold flowers and it was a business I created myself. I always had that and I lost some of that feeling of intuition when I got into the corporate world. First, I was into travel, which was my treasure. But of course, the corporate world that I got into, it brought me in because it made good money. And when I left in the role that I was in as director, I was pulled in so many different directions and not understanding my instincts. Now, from that, I did get a coach that they had gotten for me because I was working in so many different departments and managing people of 500 and so that were all around North America. So it was really, really important that I had a coach. And I understood the importance of coaching. And that's why I trained myself. It took about 7 years and the end of it to train myself in coaching because I know the powerful um, things that coaching can do. And that's why I decided to get into this field and open my business almost 20 years ago to help entrepreneurs and business executives. So, but we have to hone back to know what our intuition is and what that is. I mean, how many of you out there are doing that? Are you putting on the GPS to get to anywhere? How many are not really using their intuition and understanding what it is that they want to relay? What is your legacy? What is that you want to bring out to the world? And honing in and listening to that. And that's why I always say you need to go back. You need to go back to quiet time and to really understanding what that intuition is to be able to keep carried out. Can you hear him tapping around? Of course, he comes alive just when I come to do the podcast. My dog, he's 18 years old. He's just the sweetest thing ever. He really is. I can't believe he's still kicking around. And I'm happy that he is. So, getting back to intuition and knowing what this is, I know I want to be keeping these within 20 minutes, these podcast releases that I'm going to be coming out. So they're going to be every Monday, by the way, just so you know, Monday at 12. And I want you to have your lunch ready. I'm going to be digging into it after I finish talking to you. But come and join me and come and join in and have a lunch while we're doing the podcast show. So intuition is so important in what we're needing to do. So I'm going to give you 3 tips to end today's podcast. Number 1 is to, and again, think of it. Knowledge is knowledge, but it gets into your bones. That's when it really comes true. So think about these are actions that you need to actually take and to do. So take 30 minutes to yourself a day. Some of my clients have said to me, that's hard to do. And it isn't really. If you plan your days and you set your boundaries and you set your time and say, no, this is my time for creative. This is my time for this. And don't feel guilty about it. It's important. And then when you take that time, don't be watching TV. Don't be going onto social media. Journal. Something that gets you thinking for yourself. Not what the media is telling you to do. Not what advertising is telling you to do. It's really honing in on what you want and what you want to create. Start journaling. Start writing down those things and those dreams that you have. Start having some fun with it. Meditation is also huge. I've got it. If you want to put in the comments below meditation, I have a free meditation I can send you. I also have a planning goal template if you want. So put in goal template in the comments below if that's something that you'd like me to send you. But honing in on those things and getting back to who you are is so, so important. And turning everything else off. People think they come home, they went, oh, I'm going to relax, and they plop themselves in front of the TV. And all those stimuli and everything that happens that comes at you changes your viewpoint. It makes you go stir crazy. I don't know how many people tell me that they get these heart palpitations these days. They have so many things coming to them. And then they end up doing this, and then they end up doing that, and then they end up changing again, and pivoting and creating something different. And oh no, that come back again. What is your legacy, and what do you want to do to change the world, and how do you want to create that? When I talk about life and business, I really mean that. How do you, whether you have a family and loved ones, whether it's stuff more for self or friends, it's those connections and that time that's just meant for that, turning off the phones and really concentrating on those things that are important to you. So, number one is take at least 30 minutes a day to step away. Journal. Do not do that for watching TV. Do not do that for anything else, but really, really stepping away and trusting your instincts. And then once you get attuned to it, I always call it your auto success mindset. And that comes in later in the programs. It's a little bit of hypnotherapy and programming that gets in there that you automatically just know right away. This is my intuition speaking. I need to do this. This is my intuition speaking. I need to do that. And it is something that does come more natural eventually. But for now, if you could just spend 30 minutes to really hone in on what that is and how you want to do. Number two, I'm going to talk about being around positive people. And unfortunately, it's really a difficult time out there right now. And every day I send out careness and kindness to everybody for the hurt and angers that's in them. I feel like I'm going to lose my voice here just because it makes me sad. Um, that everyone is so angry right now, so hurt, what's happening around the world. Um, and then as we start thinking more and more negatively, it ends up creating more out there. And we need to be really being around positive people, bringing on positive thoughts that will reach out to more people out there. Because I really truly believe that we do have an energy field, and then it's scientific. It's just not my beliefs. It's scientific out there that we can affect other people. So if we can bring that to ourselves, eventually, my belief is we could make some type of an impact in the world out there. And that's something that is really, really important. And also for your own abilities to bring yourself back and trusting your instincts and not having all that negativity and change of thought and this. Being out there and seeing, I drove back from Florida, and I drove, and some of the radio stations out there are so appalling in how they're just so pulled apart. It's not necessarily the facts. They manipulate things, and it brings more people to the station. Really, they're money makers, right? So, but it's so sad that it's on the backs of everyone out there, and it's important to rid yourself of a lot of that. The third thing I want to talk about is really getting set and clear on where you want to go in this new world. What kind of an impact you want to make? What is it that you want to do? And this is all what I'm talking about in what I'm releasing for all next year. It's going to be a step-by-step roadmap. When you join into this program, it's free. And then you go into this one, and then you go into this one. And it takes you along that path for simplicity, for rapid results, and accountability to really have for yourself as an individual what that is. The process is cookie cutter, but each one individually, it is what you're going to be wanting to create and really moving forward in your life. And of course, there's a financial component. We want to make millions. We want to do well. That's one of the mandates in the two businesses that I have. So I have one with Dario that we do a lifestyle brand and trips to Italy, and I have my coaching practice, and in each one we want to um, be able to run with probably about 40% capacity of value of our income and what we bring in, and the rest goes to charity. We have done that in the past where we probably put 10% of whatever we make from the book that goes into the Fenahata Lewy Body Foundation, but there's more charities that I want to do. So the business becomes more of a meaningful business to me and to Dario, as opposed to, oh, we're going to buy a new car, oh, we're going to have a bigger house, or any of those kind of things. Yes, as we go, of course, some of those things will happen, but there is a mandate and an intention and a fact that a percentage of everything that we earn, so as we start to increase, we bring more and we can bring that to other people. And that's just something that we've brought on and it's important to us. So anyway, I hope that has helped you today. So next Wednesday, I don't even know what the topic's going to be. I guess I'll put it into social. And let's see, how did I do? I did 20 minutes, 22. I can't even see. Yeah, 20 minutes. So I kept within 20 minutes. That's good. I wanted to have this as a lunch and learn that you can stick within a certain time period. Come on over, invite your friends, come over and join. So next Monday, they can come on and enjoy this as well with the lunch and learn. And yeah, I see a few more other people over in YouTube. I see some people in LinkedIn as well that have joined in, but the majority of it's going to be over here in this Facebook group. So hopefully you found that valuable, what we got today. I'd love to hear from you. Put in the comments if you have any other topics that you'd like. If you're interested in the meditation for free, put in meditation in the comments. If you're interested in the goal setting program, planner, please reach out for me as well, and just maybe put in planner, and then I'll have my team send that out to you. And I'm so excited that we're starting the podcast again. I've been missing it. I have been missing it. And to do it just in audio was a little bit difficult. I wanted to be able to be more connected. Today I've done it to a stream to different places, so I'm not unfortunately able to see everyone that's gone through. And I think maybe next week I'll just do it into Facebook and just leave it for that into the group. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and looking forward to bigger and better things in this new world that we have around us, this new era, and creating the legacy that you want to have, to simplify your business, to scale your business, and to live it within purpose. Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.